have WordPress and terminal in the same sentence, it's about WP-CLI. And WP-CLI is a command line interface for WordPress. It is the most powerful thing you can use to do stuff to WordPress, especially when you combine it with other CLI tools. Now, when you try to delete, you can. If you delete one post from WordPress dashboard, it takes a couple of clicks and a few seconds, right? With WP-CLI, it takes one command and, again, a few seconds. So this first level of using WP-CLI, like doing exactly the same what you can do in dashboard, I like to call Guilfoyle level. And by the way, these levels are imagined. I just made them up because I want to. So they're not real levels, but it can help you to think how you can expand your work on WP-CLI. Now, imagine if you need to delete 10,000 posts. In WordPress dashboard, it will take you 9.5 days and many clicks. With WP-CLI, it will take you, again, one command and maybe 3.5 minutes, you laughing out loud. Now, that level, when you do things in bulk and much faster than in dashboard, I like to call Pied Piper level. And now we come to the next level where you can do with WP-CLI things that you cannot do in dashboard. And there are many of those things, but for example, one of those things that we will see today is scaffolding a plugin. And that level, my friends, is Neo level. And you might think this is all, right? Now we reach the point where we can do stuff with WP-CLI but cannot do with dashboard. But wait until you see this Mr. Robot level. It's when you create your own custom WP-CLI command with WP-CLI command. Now that's something that many smart hosting companies and plugin authors have been doing for years. And it's really helpful when you get a new project, you go to hosting, you log in, you see, oh, SSH, but then you see, oh, WP-CLI, and then you find out they have their own custom commands so you can do stuff faster in their own servers. Now, that's how I like to be spoiled, right? So now I sold you on this, right? You want to use this, and we're going to start using it. I don't have any computer or server without it, so I cannot show you how to install it, but there is a pretty good documentation, and the process is straightforward. So you need 3.5 commands. And this first command is you download it and it's working. So basically it's just one command. And then you use this half of command just to check if it's working, and it's working. And then you don't want to type php wp-cli.par every time you want to run command, right? So you want to make it simple, you make it executable, and then you move it somewhere in your path so you can execute it from everywhere. And this WP at the end is how you will start your command. You can call it whatever you want, just be sure to keep in mind that you will be do a lot of copy pasting from AI, from Stack Overflow. I don't know if it's still in use. So you will be copy pasting, and just keep that in mind that this is the most common thing to call it WP. And now that we have it running, what we can do is WP info. And here you will see the info about your system. I have here 2.11. This is old version. There is new one, 2.12. And I have a policy of not updating my system before the talk because things happened. So I will do this right after this talk. So there is a newer version. And also, as any CLI tool, you have help available with every command, every subcommand, and here you can see every command that is available. And if you scroll down, there are global parameters. Today we will see the most beautiful global parameter in the world, my favorite one, this one, prompt. And if you run help anywhere, with the sub-commands, you will also get examples how to use this command, and you will see the whole documentation. You don't even have to go to documentation. So before we start, another important thing to know to help you use WP-CLI, or maybe help you start using it, is anatomy of a command. So what we have is WP, or whatever you called it, and then we have this none, and it's the entity you want to work with. It can be user, post, taxonomy, whatever that you saw, there's a big list. And then we have a verb, so what you want to do with this entity. And many of entities have the same verbs, like add, create, remove, list, delete, generate. So you will find a consistency there. It will help you to maybe predict what you want to do with this command. If that's not good enough for you, there are flags, which are actually arguments or parameters in a function, depending on what you want to do, so you can really refine what you want to do with it. Okay, enough talking. Now, let's talk about how to actually use it. I want to show you how you can improve your development and administration and improve security and make all of that fun, because if doing things in terminal isn't fun, I don't know what is, okay? So imagine this scenario. You had a client a long time ago. They didn't write, didn't call for years, and now they send you email. They cannot access their login URL, and they try WP admin and login and everything they knew, and they just keep sending them to 404 page. And this is because you wanted to increase security of the website, and you changed the login URL, right? And you told your client to change it again so that even you don't know it. And this client is the only client in the world who do stuff that developers tell them. So they changed it, and now nobody in the world knows what's the login URL. And you have two options. You can go to database if you have access and search for it, which is boring, or you can run one WP-CLI command, because we live in a perfect world where every server has WP-CLI available and we have SSH access to it, right? So you choose second option, great choice. And we do this, SSH, this is my imaginary client, .dev. And I go there. If internet is working, it's working. And I have this WP-CLI that is pretty outdated, but it's there, right? And I can find the login URL, right? No. You forget that I didn't hear from this client for a long time. I don't know this port number. I don't know the user. I don't know if I still have the file where I saved that port number, right? And I'm not kind of person who memorize things. I don't want to memorize anything. And with WP-CLI, you don't have to, because there are aliases. And what is alias? Alias will represent your user on that server. So how I logged in with SSH to that server, this is what actually alias is allowing me to just log in as server, as user, and not even going there. So do I have alias for this client? I don't know. I don't remember. Let's see. WP-CLI alias list. And here you see the first breaking of consistency. We don't have WP and entity and verb. We have WP-CLI. That's because alias is configuration for this computer, not for websites that I have on this computer. This is WP-CLI configuration and its connection to remote servers and locals. So when I type it, here you see these words with character. Those are alias names. And all is created right away when you create first custom alias. It's meant to be used to run commands against every alias that you have. I mean, it's a nice idea. I don't know the safe use case for it, like what you want to run with against every alias. But here we have a client, and here you see this SSH that I used, username and server name and port number. And here is the path. This is the path to WordPress on that remote server. And below that, I have WP-CLI, which has only path. This is my local WordPress. So it's just saying where this WordPress install is on my local machine. Now, I don't need to tell this to you, but let's just make sure it's clear. You cannot just create alias. You have to have this SSH connection between your machine and remote server. It has to be working. You use SSH keys, and when the shake is done with the server, then you can create alias and it's working. So let's see how it's going to help me find that login URL. I'm gonna type WP. First, let's actually check, because we didn't speak to this client for a long time. Let's check what core version is there. So WP core version. This is how you would do it without alias. And with alias, you just add alias name here after WP. And maybe you notice there is tab completion. That's beautiful. So the version is 6.4, which is outdated. The current WordPress version is 6.8, and after 2 years or something, it would be more outdated. But what we can do here while we are there, we can say update. And when you have no parameters, it will update to the latest WordPress version. And look, man, no hands. You don't have to even go there. It's going to be updated, but I suggest you go there and check if it's still there. So let's find that login URL. I'm going to use the command for executing arbitrary PHP code. I used it more times than I care to admit. It's a beautiful command. It's eval. And I happen to know what is the PHP version, WordPress function for getting login URL. It's WP login URL. It's convenient. And when I run it, it's not going to be very useful, because you see this is connected. So what I want to do is just add a new line. This is just for usability. And you should have asked Milana. And this is my imaginary client's website. So this task in real life could last much longer. You know, they send you email and then you say, okay, send me credentials to hosting, and they say, I don't have it. And then you start searching for that file. After 2 hours, they send you, oh, I found it. And then you log in, but you see so many things are outdated. And then you open the ticket. And that's the time you don't want to spend. And furthermore, you cannot really charge for them for 2 hours looking for password, right? You can squeeze it, but it's questionable. And with this, if you start using aliases today for every website that you work on, your complete credentials, everything you need to know is in your config file. You don't even have to open that config file. It's there on list. You have it, and in 2 years, you'll love yourself, because you do this in 2 seconds, and then you can lie. I search for a password, right? Okay. So now let's go to one of my local websites and talk about security, the favorite topic of WordPress. So if this was 2009, we could say that WordPress is this security hole on server, right? But it's not. The code is secure. However, we still get a lot of hacking. That's not a secret. And I like to think that's because we're popular. However, it's not going to help our clients if we just say, oh, well, you're popular, right? We need to help them stop doing that, stop being hacked. And the most common reasons for being hacked is password is very easy to guess. And clients get to find shiny plugins that are free somewhere and actually cost a lot on different places, so they get the free ones, right? So basically the main reason for being hacked is a human component, and the obvious solution is remove the human. But we cannot do that. We make websites for them, right? So what we can do is we can actually go a little bit around them. And that's what I'm going to show you now. So this is local WordPress, just freshly installed. And I'm going to list you the users here. So you know this. There is this administrator that is default, and I'm going to show you what access they have. I know you know this. I'm not saying this because I think you don't know, but there is a point behind all of this. So WP admin will open dashboard in local WordPress. This is not command that comes with WP-CLI out of box. It's just a package that you can install with just one command. You are one command from everywhere. Okay, so this is the admin, and here, as I said, I know you know this. They have access to posts, categories, tags, pages, appearance. There is themes. They can add new themes here. There is full site editing enabled, and there is editor, and they can add plugins. And look at this. In 2025, they can edit PHP files from dashboard. Isn't that just great? Right? And here's another thing. When you install WordPress by default, you get this one of default themes, and they always have this username for the only user that exists, which is administrator and has access to everything. You see the username here. So all we need now is a password, right? To make everything go away and to give access to someone to actually modify PHP files from dashboard. So I don't like that, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to demote this administrator. Not remove, not delete, just demote. So WP user, let's see which verbs can we use with this command. So there is add capability, add role, check password, and here is consistency. Create, delete, generate, get list, remove capability and role, reset password if you want to send the email with the reset password link. But if you really want to just change the password, use this one, update. You know, if you have friends and you want to have some fun with them, and I don't judge, I like to use everything. So we are going to say WP user remove role. And now WP-CLI needs to know which user. You can use username or email address or ID. I happen to know it's just ID1. And when I remove the role, what you will get here, so pay attention, this user has edit, post, new, edit site, everything. And now when I reload, all of that is gone. This user has no access to dashboard at all. Even subscriber has more access. And this is because WordPress doesn't know what to do with you when you have no role. So I suggest keeping this password very strong because you want to amuse your hackers. You don't want to disappoint there. And just create another user that will actually do stuff in your dashboard. So I'm going to say WP user create. And now there are some parameters that you should type and not make mistake and all, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to memorize. I don't want to go to documentation. What we are going to use now is the most beautiful parameter in the whole world. It's called prompt. And it will prompt you with every parameter there is. So all you can do is just type what is unique for your situation. And I'm going to say author. This is just username. Email doesn't really matter because this is local. And here you see role, and you see these square brackets. This means it's optional. So only user login and email are mandatory parameters. Role default is subscriber, but I want author, so I'm going to type it here. And now password. There are ways, and you will see later, how to make this secure and make this input, hidden, because you don't want any passwords in your bash history or any files. But I'm going to type it here, and let's pretend it's very difficult password, but I have to log in with this, so bear with me. And after that, it's like Windows. Next, next, next. You don't care. Okay? Now we created user, and when we say user list, you see this admin has no role, and this is the author. And now I'm going to log in with this user. And this user can create posts, but they cannot edit other people's posts. There are no categories or tags, no pages, no editing PHP files from dashboard, no themes or plugins, nothing. And this is now secure. I'm happy. But your client wouldn't be happy. They would want more. And we should give them more. But the next role is editor, and I don't like it. They can install new plugins. I don't like that. So what we can do, we can give this user capabilities, which is our little pieces of access and capabilities that do stuff. And those are the things that actually give you permission to do things. Roles are just group of capabilities. Creating new role means nothing, if you don't have capabilities assigned to them. So I'm going to add to this user, add capability. Again, we need to know which user this is. It's ID 2. And I'm going to say manage categories. Now, keep in mind that you will see success even if you typed something that doesn't exist. It happened to me many times. So you have to type here correctly. And now when we reload, this user can create categories and tags. And I think if you give someone ability to create posts, managing categories and tags is the least you can do. What else? I'm going to give them switch themes. And same thing for plugins, which is activate plugins. Now, what this does is they can switch between existing themes, but they cannot add new theme. And also for the plugins, they can activate and deactivate, but they cannot install new ones. So there will be no introduction of some shiny new plugin before your developer reviews it. But when you have some problem with your WordPress install, first advice that you will get from anywhere is switch to default theme and turn off all the plugins and then start activating one by one to see what's the problem. So I think it's fair for them to have this ability to do that. And another thing that I will give them is edit theme options, because many themes and some plugins and even core are hiding certain settings behind it, and you will get here a full site editor with that capability. Now, there are many more of these capabilities. There is documentation for that. Hold on. So you will find it at wordpress.org, documentation, article, roles and capabilities. And here you have all the roles and then all capabilities, and you will see which role has which capabilities. So you can really make this unique access for your clients to give them enough access to own the website, but not enough to break them, because that's our job as developers, to break and to fix them. And this is all good, but now we think this is secure. But if we go to, let me close these things here. If we go to page source and search for JSON, what you will find is that REST API is by default open and exposed to random users. So I'm going to open this in incognito. And my REST API is here, available. And people can see all the other authors and all the things that are public, but maybe you don't want to show them. So if we are talking about securing WordPress, this is something that should be hidden. Now, you will find online a lot of code snippets, how to disable this and that. Please don't use that. If you don't know what you're doing, don't use that. Gutenberg is heavily relying on REST API. So don't disable anything. Just, hide it from guests. And you can refine who can actually see that. You can set it for just administrators or just specific person that can see that, but don't disable anything. And here we are going to disable it. Actually, let me go from here. So here on WordPress.org, there is a link Learn and Developers, and you will find documentation for developers. Here is REST API Handbook, and we go to frequently asked questions, because the most frequently asked question is how to disable REST API. Now here they tell you again, don't disable it, just make it require authentication, actually just hide it from logged out users. And we are going to copy all of this. And now we are going to use WP-CLI to create a plugin. So we are now on the Neo level, right? So WP scaffold plugin. Again, there are parameters that I don't care about. Slug. So let's just call it disable REST. Directory name will be the same as the slug. Plugin name disable REST. Description, we don't have a time. Author, I don't know. Codemotion community. URI, skip tests, don't skip tests. If you have a provider, continuous integration provider other than Travis, you can define it here. Activate, yes, please. Activate network, I don't have it. Force, I don't have anything to override, so I don't care about that. And here we have a plugin created in, less than a minute during live talk. Now, let's go there and see what we have in this folder. We called it disable. So here you have a bin with some bash scripts to run. Package JSON, so it's ready for modern development. Even though there is grunt file, it's still working. You can convert it to Webpack. I mean, we started using Webpack with the Gutenberg, but this command wasn't updated yet. Since then, you can start writing your tests. And let me show you this README file. This is not just empty README file. It's the actual template if you want to host your website, your plugin at WordPress.org. So all you need to do is just type what is unique for your situation, and you're good to go. You have everything in there. You don't have to go and search for it, what should be there, and where is that info. So you can just use one WP-CLI command. And now we are going to actually create this plugin. So I'm going to take my chances here and do it with Vim, right? Okay, disable. And this is, again, everything that we had. We typed here. You see the plugin name and author and everything. And now I actually created last week a PR for this to have this if not defined, because I have been typing this on every single talk. So it's it's going to be in your version. So if not defined, abs path, right? We are going to exit. Okay, now we are ready to just paste that code that we got from the handbook. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to exit the Vim editor. So first you just press escape to get out of the insert mode. Then you have a colon. Then you want to save what you changed. So it's W, it's Q, and we are out. Okay, so let's see what we have done now. Let's hope there's no error here. No errors. And let me go to this. This is incognito. And we are expecting this to be, it's not disabled. And let's see why. Maybe we didn't save correctly. Oh, no, this is different website, sorry. Oh, that's why, because this is different website. I was doing this on a wrong website. Sorry. I was supposed to do this in this one. Right. So let's go to front end. See the source, search for JSON. Been there, done that. Okay. This is JSON when I'm logged in, and this is when I'm logged out. So now this is hidden from people who are not logged in, and we just made that plugin in editor, in terminal completely. We didn't use anything else. So here, I want to show you this. This is the actual condition for hiding. So here, instead of this, you can just say, if this user is just me, and then show it. You can narrow it very. You can make it very specific, and just please don't disable. Okay, so that's about development and some security and administration. And now I want to show you some magic. So we are going to go to my magic folder. And there's nothing in there. This is just empty folder. And I'm going to do some magic here. We are downloading, and database name is magic, password. So you see now you don't see my password. And then site title, everything is magic from now on. Magic.blog, admin, and cooking, because this is Linux. And do we want to release the Kraken? I promised you Kraken. So here's the Kraken. And this is our magic website. Of course, this is yet another WordPress website. And what the magic was is just bash script. So that's my favorite thing about terminals, and I'm going to show you what's in there. So we are going to go into bin and WP install. And here we have just few WP-CLI commands. So when you first write bash script, what you have here is this shebang, and then you tell the script which shell is going to be executed. I'm using bash, and then we have WP core download. So, because why would I ever type WP core download ever again? And after that, we have this creation for a config file, and I know that in my local, the user is always going to be root until I update to new MySQL version. So this is root, and then I have password here, and I don't want to type my root password anywhere in any file, and I don't want to have it in my bash history. So this is what I'm using, just a simple bash scripting to, make it silent what I type and not show anything to you. I even talk to myself here, like, thank you, config file is created. Then we have the database name that I'm also getting from here. And I know for these 3 parameters that they will always be needed. Maybe I will need something more, maybe not. I'm using prompt again here. So it will just add the rest of the parameters if you need to add them. Then I'm doing exactly the same thing with WP core install. And as you can see, there are a lot of parameters here. I don't want to type any of this. So I just type my URL, and I actually have always URL the same as database name, just add .log. So I could actually build here the way I did it with the email, admin email here. So then it's title and admin user, and password, again, it's silent, but we don't care about admin passwords in local, whatever. And then admin email is built from the admin username and database name, and just added log because that really doesn't matter. After that, we have a WP rewrite structure, and let me show you why. Here in Magic, if I go to Hello World post, you see I have this pretty link. I have year and month, and then the name of the post. But here, if I go, this is by default created by WP-CLI, and no links were set. You see this index.php. That's what happens when you install WordPress with WP-CLI, but you can use this rewrite structure command, and to be able to use it, what you need to have in your config file is mode rewrite modal enabled for Apache. For Nginx, you don't need to do anything. And by the way, here are my aliases, and this is text file, you can just copy paste and change things. You don't even have to run command. And then we have this locomotive, which is just something I like to, I actually use this script for installing websites for my work, and I don't do it often, so when I run it, I'm like, oh, this is, I have this locomotive, and I have these shiny new shiny letters here, and the Kraken is actually if I want Xcow to greet me and to open the dashboard, or if I don't want to, I just have a wonderful day. And this is not all. This is just a basic script. You can add here, like if you are using specific set of plugins for every install, you can have them here, or if you are using specific theme, or if you want to set it right away to Spanish, you can do it here and maybe populate with dummy text. Everything can be here, and you can just let it run and have a coffee, laugh out loud, whatever, screenshot, or just scroll your phone. So, I have 5 minutes, okay. I'm almost done. So I hope you learned something new, and I hope this showed you what you can do. This is really nothing compared to what you really can do and make everything, work for you. You can optimize your processes, everything that you are going to do more than once, just automate it, just make a script, You don't need to type anything again, twice. And I hope you will find some use cases in your workflows for it. My name is Milana Cap. I'm WordPress engineer at XWP and TopTal. I'm also the loudest member of WordPress documentation team, and not so loud for plugin team. I'm classical musician. Whatever you want to talk about, I'm here. Please don't forget to rate the talks, especially if you don't like it. I like to improve. So if I said anything you don't like, please give me note. And you can find me on these places if you want to discuss any of these things. And thank you so much for your time.
If you have some questions, you can do it asking with the microphone or in your app, okay? And I am curious about WordPress. Used to be, some people say it's a no-code tool. And some people say that most in the no-code community, they thought, oh, it's easy, you can create your website with WordPress, and you are showing us a different point of view. What could be your advice for people who wants to change this point of view of WordPress is just easy no-code tool to start to use?
Well, they can try to create a plugin. I'm in a review team, so they will see it's not really. It can be no-code tool, and it can be very heavy and modern code tool, depending on what is your level of using it. So that is actually why WordPress is so popular, because you can do it without. You can create a website in very few hours or minutes or days, depending on how good you are with depending on your level of experience and skills. And you can stay with those few minutes. You just install it, change the theme, or maybe install some plugin, or you can go further, create a custom theme, create some custom plugins, and start. I've been on a project for enterprise client, and we had in our team, our custom team, we had a complete Laravel inside. So it can be as complex as you want it to be, and it can run all that. It's a little bit of Frankenstein. That can be too, but it can run whatever.